Thank you.
Good morning,
Jim.
everyone.
I'm pleased to honor you.
Thank you.
Alright, so we're gonna start a couple of minutes late. We have our 3 voting drainage board members and a quorum present. So,
You can second lead and get settled
Thank you.
and open up and help yourself too.
Have every intention to do that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, my.
Now, once again, these donuts are in honor of Jim and years of service to the community, so, yeah.
25 years of service.
That's at 25. Did somebody check it out?
Yeah,
Pretty amazing.
yeah.
Ended on around them, or
You're right.
just sort of around them.
I know sometime in the 1990s, I joined the drainage board.
It was November 1998 that I first saw your name pop up in
Oh, wow.
minutes, so.
Retired.
Jim, this is for you from the commissioners.
Oh, gee, thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for putting that together.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, after 25 years, that's a lot of contribution to the community.
Yes.
And we really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Gonna be big shoes to fill. If anyone has recommendations for a new drainage board member, send them my way. Be happy to talk to anyone if they have any questions.
Mhm.
And Jim has brought wonderful experience in geology. Just other drainage and site design considerations, always a really great voice on the board, so.
Very much a favor. We wish to thank you for your 25 years of service to the community. During the time, the drainage board has become increasingly important for the future of Monroe County. Your contributions have made both the board and the community more prepared and proactive in overcoming the many drainage problems our community will be facing. Your efforts have been greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you for your 25 years of service. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you, commissioners.
Yeah. Very good.
Made it so far.
Yeah.
I plan to hold our December meeting, so.
Okay. I hope we can drive because it's gonna be dark at 8:30 and I don't try to drive at night.
Okay, you can attend virtually if needed, but. I'm
Well,
glad that
thank
you've done this
everybody.
today.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And of course, you're invited to attend future meetings as a member of the public and provide your input. as
Yeah,
well,
I'd
so.
like to do it on Zoom.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that we have that option now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Want to go into the approval of minutes and for October 4th, and I reviewed them and didn't have any comments. Any comments from the other board members?
No comments.
Okay, well, then a motion to approve the minutes,
I'll second.
okay? And go roll call, Lee,
Yes.
approved, Jim,
Yes.
and audio, yes. So now, those are approved. Next is any public input for items not on the agenda. I kind of went out of order with Jim, but anything else?
I still want that white line on North Maple Grove.
Yes, I forwarded. that
That's
to
too
you.
close. I talked to somebody at the county.
Was it Paul, our highway engineer?
Yeah,
I forwarded your
But,
concern to him.
I left a message there.
Okay.
They called me and left a message on my machine.
Okay,
But I'm worried about that ditch that's so close to where you have to turn.
yeah.
All right.
And that white line would help protect that, so people wouldn't go into the ditch instead.
Mhm, yeah. I can talk to Paul about it again. Like I said, I forwarded your concern to him. So if you haven't had a chance to speak with him over the phone, maybe we can get you two connected. Okay,
Yeah, somebody called me and left a message and I called back and left a message.
okay. Um,
Okay, and then, ready to go into the business items,
yeah.
you're welcome to take over.
The first one we have, is a drainage easement waiver request. I want to make sure. First one is the drainage easement waiver request in the Southern Meadows subdivision. This one, is for a lot that has been built out in the first phase of this development. The deck that's being requested has not been built yet, so they're asking you if they are allowed to do this.
Mhm.
So let me zoom in here. So we're looking at lot 75 right here. I guess for everyone else, I'll zoom out a little bit and show you where we're talking about for Southern Meadows. Okay. The Southern Meadows subdivision is on the south side of Bloomington, just east of the main fork of Clear Creek. So this is the subdivision right here. Gonna be built out in 6 phases. The first phase right here, an extension of West Fat Road. Oh, the entire site drains to the west towards Clear Creek. Pretty steep, slopes in this area. Many of the homes are, the paths are stair stepping down. And drainage is managed. Storm sewers collecting runoff from the roads, and then there are side yard and rear yard swales behind the homes to convey water to the detention ponds. This one in particular is running to a detention pond that has been installed on this common area lot. So the drainage behind these homes here, these are the lots that have been platted, the aerials don't show them built out yet, if they are. Everything's draining behind the homes through a 20-foot wide drainage easement into this detention pond right here before discharging to Clear Creek. So. So on Elevate, you didn't see that the phase back here had been platted yet, so I wanted to show what the plan is going to be. So lot 75 here, they're proposing a deck. They have a 10-foot drainage easement in their rear yard back here. I can zoom in a minute, but this plot here so hasn't been built out, hasn't platted yet, and so eventually there will be homes behind these homes over here. I just want to check. I have anyone from Tushy doesn't. Okay, so. A bit more detail here with grading plan. So you can see lot 75. So this is our 20-foot wide drainage easement, conveying drainage from the rear yards. This area, and eventually this will be a swale that discharges to this detention pond. So lot 80 has not been built out yet, but my concern is for this one.
Mhm.
If they build into this drainage easement, this home could potentially go right up to this drainage easement as well. So my general recommendation is not to approve this because we haven't seen the rest of the development be built out. And this home is just going to be way too close to that drainage easement for my comfort to have any type of potential obstruction in that easement. So, so the rental letter, asking for, where's the easy, I should get the drainage board, asking for, this waiver request for the drainage easement detailing the specifics of the proposed deck. They're going to be going into the drainage easement about 6 feet. The reason is, they want to expand their current deck. because they don't feel it's big enough for what they want to use it for.
Mhm.
And that's all in the packet. The builder provided some conceptual drawings, not look to see how accurate their conceptual drawing is, but it'd be extending 6 feet into that easement. Again, the easement's only 20 feet wide, so the center line of that swale is
Yeah.
pretty close to this proposed deck here. This picture provides a good image of what the current state of the site looks like. Right now, the rear yard slopes down away from the home, but eventually this will be an easement, and all the area to the south is gonna be built up for that, the southern lots to be built, and then we'll have an easement right here to convey that runoff to the detention
Looks
pond.
like they need trees there.
It's,
Yeah.
the grass is growing a little bit more, which is, I can assure you, it's growing a little bit more, and the property owner did state they also have plans to plant some trees in their yard. As a general note, I'll discourage planting trees within the easement,
And bushes bring birds.
and what?
Bushes bring birds.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So we've seen some good landscaping by property owners so far, but don't have much say over that other than what was required in the landscaping plan on the right of side. Again, rear of the home, this is the portion of the deck they wanted to extend. Picture the plot plan, which I can pull up for you. Oops.
How much room will they have? Is their deck right up against the easement now? Or is there a few?
I just pull up the plot plan.
It's a huge house.
Yeah.
Okay, so this. The black lines show the proposed grading for the lot, the red lines show the as-built grades, so the
Mhm.
surveyor went out and showed us what's currently there on the site. And show the drainage easement on it. Okay, so we have a 10-foot drainage easement right here. And maybe if I pull up the plot, I'll be able to show it a little bit better. But yeah, the home comes really close to this drainage easement right here by a couple of feet. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, there's a lot of elevation change in this area, so standing water isn't so much the issue, so it's only a 20-foot wide easement, the water's expected to move pretty quickly through that easement with the elevation change we have,
Mhm.
so. We're not gonna be impacted by, rising flood waters or, the detention pond is pretty far
Mhm.
downstream from this, so it's really just the ability to convey large amounts of water quickly
Mhm.
if we have a really large rain event.
And Clear Creek goes down below the dam.
Yeah, Clear Creek is downstream. And so we have a detention pond to capture everything before it goes to Clear Creek.
The Clear Creek goes below the dam at Lake Monroe Reservoir.
Oh, yes, sir. Mhm.
It doesn't go into the
No,
reservoir.
it does not.
So. So then, you're recommending we deny this request for a variance.
That is my recommendation, yes, based on the potential or the planned development on the other side of this drainage easement.
Mhm. And so. Yeah, and, so we don't often deny. Do they have an opportunity for an appeal if we deny?
Yes, there's an appeals process in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make the motion.
Okay, so, make a motion to deny this variance. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, then, so. What's the proper terminology for denying? You say, is it yes is agreeing with the denial?
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll need a unanimous vote, so everyone will have to be in agreement.
Right,
Since
Do we not need to take public comment or anything?
I don't think we follow a lot of the more
Okay.
strict, procedures as the plan commission, but you're welcome to.
No, I just. In our meetings, we get in trouble. if we do
Okay,
something
okay.
like that. So I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure.
I think we can absolutely welcome input from the public, we have members here and members on Zoom as well. Unfortunately, no members, member from a specific petition on Zoom, but
Well, I was wondering about just general discussion or anything like that, but there is a motion on the floor, so
Mhm.
defer to where you would like to proceed.
Yeah, okay, so, I'm gonna go through a roll call. then
Yes.
Lee,
Roll.
Yep, Lee,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes,
and audio says yes also.
we can. I'll notify the property owner, and like I said, there is an appeals process,
Mhm.
and I'll work with them on that if they'd like to appeal.
Okay.
And then they could come back once the other piece is platted, and you know.
I don't think there's anything in the ordinance prohibiting them from asking again in the future, once the rest of it is built out.
Okay,
So I'd welcome them to come back if they'd like to.
yeah, yeah.
So. That's our agenda here. Alright, the next item is. And this word on the agenda is an after the fact violation of the drainage easement. This is also in the Southern Meadow subdivision. Lot 60. So, we'll now here show you where. Okay. Alright, so. So we're looking at lot 60 in the Southern Meadow subdivision. We have the property owners here with us. Just want to show you, this is in the northwest corner of the subdivision, this is lot 60. And this drains to a common area detention pond on lot 53 right here. Plot plan for lot 60. Here. This drains, I court, this is the cul-de-sac, we have a stone structure here. Going to a manhole, and then the drainage from this cul-de-sac goes between lots 59 and 60 through a 24-inch HDP storm pipe discharged into the detention pond. Now, the drainage easement violation is for this drainage easement right here covering the storm pipe. And the homeowners, built a fence up to their property line. And it just happens to be directly over this plastic storm pipe that drains the cul-de-sac right here. There are other drainage easements on this property. We have a 30-foot wide, overflow easement for this roundabout, inlet at the end of the cul-de-sac. If we had a large event and the inlet were to be clogged, we have an overflow route here for drainage. That one, I didn't see any violations for that one. They also have floodplain to the west, on this side, but the fence goes to the property line, so, as far as my knowledge is outside the floodplain. So that part isn't an issue. It's really just this section along this drainage easement right here that I'm looking at. Okay. So here's a picture of the side yards between, this is lot 60 on the left, lot 59 on the right. And so this is the fence that goes right up to the property line. This is where the storm pipe is located. So, in the grading plan, you can see the outline of the pipe between the two lots. A couple more pictures. Um, I suppose if you'd like to see. This is looking at the end of the storm pipe and the detention pond, looking up. The fence post right here is basically directly over this plastic storm pipe. My main concern is that the cover on this pipe in this location is pretty shallow. Looking in the pipe, as best I could see some potential evidence of damage to the pipe without actually televising it and having a clearer view. It's hard to say. But based on the location of it, it's directly on the pipe, and that is unfortunate.
You don't know whether some of the fence posts might function in the plastic pipe.
Without televising it, it's really hard to see. But if you pull up the plans, I can also show you the profile for it is. So this is the pipe itself. This is the manhole in front of the house. This is the pipe that goes along the side. The existing surface here. The pipes. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. The pipe only extends maybe 20 feet from the property line. And so we're looking at the fence post being close to this area where we only have 6 inches of cover on the pipe. At the last meeting, Ginger also brought up the possibility for settling, where it's a fairly new storm pipe, hasn't been really inspected since it was first installed, since it's so new. But there's been a lot of fill in this area. And so I wanted to show the existing surface right here. Here versus in the bottom of the pipe. So the bottom of the pipe is on parent material. But everything around it has been filled in, so settling could, I think, still be a reasonable concern.
Could you send a small person into the pipe? To check it out.
I'm actually working with Reed and Sons on getting an on-call contract with them for televising storm pipes. Just for things that we need, because right now we can do like a horizontal entry into a pipe. We also getting my guys trained on confined entry. But televising it would be the most straightforward way for a 24-inch pipe, since it is a little smaller.
Yeah.
So, but we don't have that contact with us. And like I said, we haven't required any televising on the developer yet because it is so new. We haven't had any talks of taking this in anytime soon. It's just not there yet, so.
So the request for the variance is to request permission for the fence.
For the fence to remain in place. That is the request right now, and I'll let Don and Julie speak in a minute. My current concern is that the fence was placed directly on top of the pipe, and it's just unfortunate. We've granted variances in the past if a fence is perpendicular to a pipe and you can make the fence post straddle the pipe.
Yes.
But this is different because it's going not just parallel to the pipe, but it's on top of it, and then especially the post in an area where we have just less than a foot of covers.
And so
I would like to make a comment.
Sure.
It's more about the compact or compound effect that may occur. Everything we're looking at is in this subdivision today. And the last one we just looked at, we made a motion to deny.
Yes.
And I brought this up when we briefly looked at it last time. How are we going to apply a level of fairness as well as trying to mitigate any type of stormwater impacts, flash flooding. And this is just in this subdivision. If we start looking more regional, we're gonna probably see more development occur, which means we need to make sure that things are really adequate. Also, if you just look at Clear Creek and all the things we've heard about that particular area, and then as we go through more of these, like, how are we going to really get folks to kind of follow the ordinance if we have a variance here, no variance there, and and then we get to the after the fact, which, you know, I understand that some of this is complicated and, you know, some people just aren't necessarily aware. Not trying to say that you did it intentionally or anything, but like, we're not even fully developed this subdivision yet. And as people come in and start looking, oh, there's a fence there, maybe I can do that. And we're gonna look at another one with another deck that wants to be approved, and so I just wanted to bring that up for consideration as we look at these case by case. I was gonna recommend maybe we look at all of them and then go back through them for approval, which is so we really show that this is like more of a compound situation of variances and after the fact builds. And also that the subdivision isn't fully built out, and how are we gonna really kind of make sure that this is done very in line with our ordinance. And, you know, that's kind of where my thoughts are on this. It's unfortunate that we have to address them after there's been dollars put into it. And that's always a really tough one for me. So that's just my thoughts on the whole thing is, you know, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 different things going on in this subdivision today. And if we start piecemealing yes or no, what's that going to do with other potential homeowners in the future?
I don't know if this applies to the drainage board in particular, but I do know when I got training for the plan commission, we were told to consider each.
Yeah, each one by one.
And none of it said suppressive.
Right.
We are not, you know, so we can consider each one on its own merits without worrying about how other people will feel about it. I'm not saying that's a good idea.
No,
I kind of-
mine is just another homeowner comes,
I
buys the
know,
lot, looks down, walks to the neighborhood, and they're like, oh, I can do, you know,
and
that's just
I agree, the fact that it's not built out,
right.
it makes it particularly sensitive. I think.
And the whole thing has a pretty interesting kind of underlying approval where there's a lot of earth moving and a lot of settling that needs to occur. And we've already identified certain other features, but that's just kind of my thoughts. I'm a non-voting member, but you know, I really tried my hardest to apply some level of, you know, fairness across the board, and we're looking at 4 different things in one subdivision. So I'll pause there, and yes, you're absolutely right. We should be looking at case by case. And
one of the things that comes to my mind is, I don't think the drainage board has a capability of putting a fine for doing something that shouldn't have been done.
right, that's
The planning commission probably could do that, but I don't think the drainage board has that option.
I think you do.
We do?
It hasn't been exercised. but
Oh,
Chapter 761 does have enforcement capability for chapter 115 of the North County Code.
So that would need to go through
But
legal.
yes, absolutely, but
yeah,
yeah,
I think you ought to bring that up as a possibility.
yeah, they, to me, instead of just issuing fines, I think the way to implement this is, you know, we could do the work and then bill the property owner. Say, if we need that fence moved or something, or really any work in a drainage easement, like we have a lot of power to maintain the flow, the infrastructure, whatever is there, through several different means.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Initially, I would like to make the motion that the fence be removed,
Removed or moved?
removed.
Yeah, and so, do you have any more, I mean, it seems to me at a minimum, it needs to be inspected, televised,
Yeah,
to see if it's functional.
can we?
And then could we have, yeah,
Yeah,
and like the homeowners and you know, if you could identify yourselves and go, you're welcome to come up to the table too.
Don and Julie Grinstead.
Okay.
It would be nice if maybe you did come to, table, because right now we have a microphone and a person taking minutes is on.
Yeah, yes,
Zoom,
please.
so,
Julie will speak for us.
Okay.
okay,
You can move the.
I really appreciate it, it just will be easier for.
Can we move paper towels, John?
Huh?
Move paper towels.
Oh, absolutely.
So she's not alone.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
You're at
It's not the easiest thing.
table.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
So we purchased this lot, we were living in Georgia at the time, and so, and I'm not putting any blame anywhere, but we had no idea there was this easement here, and so, long story short, we move in. Our house does have the common area behind us
Mhm.
and the drainage area, so, you know, I don't want to say it's unsightly, but it is, and we have 2 little dogs and we have 6 grandchildren, so long, short, you know. We put up the fence and had no idea, you know, there was any issues at all until. I believe someone was walking around, and maybe that was you,
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
and said. There might be a wrong issue with your fence, and so you're like, oh, and then literally the next day we get the letter saying we were in violation.
Mhm.
So that's the long and short of, you know, just to give you a brief, and I don't know if there's any more you want to add.
well, I've heard discussion about an inspection of the pipe before I'm presuming before conclusion, that may not be the way this works here. Since it sounds like there's already some, you know, some discussion. But is that not what would happen before there was a conclusion? Would there be some sort of inspection and then data as opposed to, you know, I'm sorry, just picture, and I'm only saying that, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Mhm.
You know, the fence, certainly we want to do the right thing. But we also need to look out for our own, you know,
Yeah.
financial and, you know, loss of, kind of usable space sort of issues. You know, Tom has been very helpful and accommodating and, you know, as we've gone through this process. So I want to make sure that this committee knows that we are doing this in good faith and the builder is doing it in good faith. So I guess that's a question I have in terms of,
Yeah.
will an inspection be done before there's a final conclusion, or how do we move forward? What can we do?
Yeah, I think I originally stated that when I introduced this to the board last month. So a few reasons why this is tricky. If the fence were not directly on top of the pipe and we had it televised to show there's no damage, I would be more agreeable to maybe allow
Mhm.
some leniency there. It's still an issue though, if we need to go in and say excavate and dig up the pipe, the fence could still be in the way, it would still need to be moved. But going out there to clearly directly over the pipe. As far as who televises it, the county will not pay for that, and we don't have the equipment to do that. So it would be the responsibility of property owner. And to have that completed, to demonstrate there's no damage to it, but regardless, the drainage board could still say the fence isn't allowed, even if it were to be televised. And so the cost of that, I mean, it could be upwards of $1,000 just to have it televised. Based on quotes I've received from local contractors for televising. Maybe less, to have proper CCTV, with the video recording and everything, but the drainage board still has the ability to not allow the fence there regardless of the condition of the pipe and televising.
Clarification,
Yeah,
the entire fence, we're talking about the entire.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
no,
that's
this
what-
entire length right
that's what I-
here, so
That one, that.
this
Okay, could
length
I-
of the fence,
Can I make
sorry,
sure
Yeah.
that we're being clear
yes,
on that?
yes, this side of the fence, the east side of the fence is what I mean by that side.
Yeah,
Is there a way you can move I mean, with grandchildren and dogs, I understand you want them fenced in. Is that still going to be possible?
My understanding is that the easement, then there would be no fence on that side, is that correct? I mean, the house is like built all the way up into whatever how many feet you have to be. So I'm not sure where the fence could even start on that side, unless it's on the back side of the house. Is that what?
That's a possibility, I think.
That might be.
well,
I'll just point out,
Reducing.
the pipe is basically running directly underneath the fence here.
Yes, right.
So
You have to go how many?
if, after further discussion, say, we decide, oh, it has to be moved, well, you would move that in how many feet?
If you have the easement, it would be 10 feet from the center line of the pipe,
Which
10
would be
feet
over
over,
to the house.
which they're saying would take them right to the house, the 10 feet
I see.
here.
So there's two things at play. It's the easement and that unfortunately you weren't aware of the fence was construction. And then there's the discussion is the pipe, detected? But those are two completely separate kind of matters. Knowing if the pipe was functioning adequately might allow the board to lean towards, allowing the obstruction in the easement or drainage area, but I just wanted to add that just for a bit more clarification, because it sounded like we were lumping two of the issues together as one, but it's really two different components here. And I sympathize with you. This is not an easy role for us, and it's not easy for you either as property owners.
So
well, go ahead, Lee.
if they do move the fence
Mhm.
and we still don't know whether or not the pipe has been damaged, what do we do from there?
When the developer requests the county to take in the roads, we have in chapter 761,
Yeah.
the requirement for the developer to televise the pipe, and before we take it in, we can require them to fix issues. That's why it's complicated on who's responsible for what,
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like, instead of deciding one way or the other, could it be televised? And then we would have the data.
Who pays for the television?
I would assume it'd either be the developer or the property
The
owner.
property owner.
I'll work
Right.
with, my name's Tom Waniger, developer and owner of the project, yeah. And I will work with the homeowners to televise that.
Okay,
There was one case that I recall from the county, that if a garage was across property lines, the plan commission demanded that the garage be moved or torn down. And that, I don't know if you recall
I
that.
do, yeah.
So, anyway,
Could I get one more piece of clarification? I'm
Sure.
Sorry.
yeah, no.
So is there a specific mandate, I'm gonna call it, in terms of distance from either the center point of the drainage or the sides of the drainage for any structures. I'm only asking, I guess, in terms of understanding and fairness. Because, you know, the house next to us is in proximity of the drain.
Yes,
And there is no way that house is gonna be moved. And so I'm just asking, you know, should it not be talking about equidistance or something that's kind of, you know, regulated amount?
yeah,
As
so
opposed
it
to
is
arbitrary.
regulated, it's not arbitrary.
Okay,
We have specific, sizes for drainage easements based on the size of the pipe and how deep it is. Because when we go to excavate it, if the pipe is small and shallow, we don't need as big or wide of a trench. If it's really deep and a large pipe, you need to excavate a larger trench. We just had one in, it's a Dogwood Estates where we needed to, you know, get a trench box and replace a pipe just like this, between two homes. So it does happen, you know, it's a HDPE pipe that was, you know, 40, not 40, probably 30, maybe years old, from the 90s or 2000s. And, so yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is that you can't put any structure in a drainage easement without a variance.
Yes, the way the current 761 is written is you can, on a case-by-case basis, allow some. To me, that language is more for easements that are supposed to have surface flow. This is for conveyance of the pipe. Typically, for all designs, we require 10 feet on either side of the pipe. I think previous ordinance, it's 7.5 feet. But let me. Let that here.
Because, so thinking through this. It is televised. And it is damaged. Well, now you're gonna be getting into, how do you fix that? And it may require moving the fence to repair the pipe. Right, if you're, and so then, how much room is needed to do those repairs, right? And while I'm speaking as one of the members of the drainage board, it seems like if there's enough, so if you can repair the fence with less than 10 feet, well, now that gives you the amount of room you have left. You know, you could seek a variance for coming into that 10-foot. So, but anyway.
I guess I have a question to the board, since there's kind of been a couple of different points of conversation. If the pipe wasn't defective at any signs after maybe an inspection, televising, does the board have any thought of sharing where they would waiver as far as granting the variance, or still wanting it to be removed? I really think that we need to give some kind of indication of where the board is, because let's say that right now we just move it to table it to see if there can be an inspection done, which will incur a cost. And then it comes back to the board and they're still like, well, we want the fence to be moved. So, I'm just wondering, like, is there a position that the board has if this pipe was not defective at all, everything was functioning? I know settling takes a while, but that settling might occur regardless if there's a fence on top or not, but I didn't want to go too far down that tangent, but that's a question I would be curious if anyone would be comfortable with sharing their thoughts on it.
Would settling occur in such a way that it could cause the fence to do more damage to the pipe? I'm not very knowledgeable about this kind of thing.
I mean, I'm not confident.
I don't know on that. But my thoughts is that the fence needs to be moved because it's in the wrong place to start with.
just wanted to pull up a section of the ordinance showing that it is standardized based on the size of the pipe, how wide the easement needs to be, and 20 feet is the minimum width. So,
And I just have a,
Sure.
is there something that like, we went to the title company or something that would have said, hey, you have this storm water easement right here, so would that have been detailed in some type of?
I can't speak for,
I'm
Every
just
title
saying, is
company,
that
but-
generally what easements are included when
Yeah.
you purchase a house? At least that's what I thought, there's usually something, you know, headline easement, you have
Mhm.
20 feet that you can't have any structure, and we went through obviously everything, and there's nothing there. Of course, we saw the big, you know, manhole or whatever, but you don't
Yeah.
realize it actually went through, you know, 2 homes, you know,
And our contractor value, and it's, you
the,
know,
the fence.
an experienced contractor in Monroe County, you know, never brought any issues up. I think
I'm just
it's
trying to
just an
figure out how we
education
would have
for
even
us.
known.
We're not
Yeah.
first-time homeowners.
I think buying a home is such a risky thing. There's so many things that you probably should know and don't even know you need to know.
Exactly, yeah, and that, I just, would there have been some indication that I didn't see, and it sounds like there's not, it's just trial and error. And unfortunately, we're getting the error, you know, so, and like I said, we had
Well,
no idea, if we had known, we
and
would have never
Just
have
very
done it.
honestly, you know, again, Tom, I'm not trying to get into your space at all, but there, as you saw, the area is still being developed. So there are other existing homeowners that are likely contemplating fences or other structures that, you know,
Yeah, we can go forward, but I think it was on the plot plan, and we give, in the new build, we give the plot plan out, and it shows on that, but I can definitely let everybody in the neighborhood know, give everybody the plot plan
yeah,
with the home contract, but you know, and it's non-permitted, you know, you don't have to get a building permit to get a
Right.
fence. And I talked to Duke the other day, and you know, they have utility easements, and I said, hey, guys, what happens when, you know, you have a problem in a utilities? Says, that's the homeowner or whatever, landowner's problem, if they plant shrubs or whatever, and we have to go in there and dig it up. That's an implied responsibility on that homeowner.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think your suggestion in the minutes that I read was something along those lines. You know, that I'm not speaking for them at all, but maybe that's a compromise and that they take camera it, look good. And, you know, they understand the responsibilities of if there is later on down the road failure, that fence has to come down. Duke takes that as a blanket. There's utility easements everywhere.
The city itself requires a permission to even put up a fence
Yeah, it does.
Is it permitted?
within the city of Bloomington.
Yeah, I think we're in a county,
Yeah.
This is the county.
yeah.
And you
So-
can't ask that of foreigners.
Well,
I,
and then regarding, when Jim has stated his position, my position is, if it's functional. Both now and whenever the final inspection is done. Allowing for that variance. If it's not functional, then I think the pipe needs to be repaired and the fence moved.
So I still think that the fence needs to be moved.
Yeah.
To fit the law.
I have a procedural question. If we're not able to come to a vote on one of these, since we need a unanimous decision, does it just continue to move forward?
Or,
Can we table this?
okay,
To the next meeting.
Yeah, if we can't come to a motion and we don't have Dave here, we could maybe ask planning to weigh in on the way it works in planning, but I think what would happen is it would just come back to us
Mhm.
Okay.
Or we could take more formal action and table it. Or if more people are leaning towards wanting to know how the pipe is functioning and what's going on with it, maybe we could ask for an inspection to be done. And maybe not mandate it, maybe, and allow them to, or maybe we might have that information next time we're revisiting this, because from my observation, I don't think we're gonna have a unanimous decision.
It doesn't sound like it, and I take it there's nothing like when you have a motion but can't come to that it automatically goes through.
I don't think so.
Okay, okay,
That's not allowed.
So, do we need a motion to table this?
I would think that would be the cleanest way.
Okay, well, do I have a motion to table this until more data is available? Second on the motion?
I'll second.
Okay,
more data, so you mean like waiting until they televise it
Yes.
or something like
Yes.
that? So are we requiring it be televised, because that should probably be a part of the motion?
oh, okay,
I agree.
okay, okay. So a motion to table until the pipe can be televised and videotaped, is that, documentation of the condition?
We say table until December and require the pipe be televised. So change your words a little bit.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise we wait until
Right. Okay.
whenever.
You're
they
right,
start
who
to do
knows?
it.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah,
Yeah, give them a deadline of like before the next
Okay.
meeting.
I'll modify my second then.
okay, okay, I appreciate it, Lee. So go through, Lee, your,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes,
audio says yes. Yeah.
I guess we need to know where the next meeting is.
Oh,
Sounds like we need to.
December,
you don't,
December sixth,
December sixth.
yes. Same time, same place, yes, can attend virtually.
Same
if needed.
donuts.
But it will be his last one.
yes. And, yeah.
Okay.
And you are welcome to attend by Zoom, remotely if you want to come.
Thank you for. Wait, so December sixth.
lot 58 next.
Yeah, so next we have lot 58 in the Southern Meadow subdivision. So lot 58.
Well, lot 60 comes up again too today.
It will, but that will be a discussion with the developer, with Tom, not the property owners.
Okay.
unfortunately, I only have 15 minutes left.
Okay.
So I think you're going to be lacking a quorum rather
Yeah,
quickly.
Yes. Is there,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Have a donut.
Yeah.
Another one.
I feel like you can vote on this in the next 15 minutes.
Okay, this is the most critical one,
Yes,
okay.
this is
Yeah.
lot 58, is, again, in the Southern Meadow subdivision, they have a rear yard drainage easement. This is for conveying surface water between lots, including overflow drainage from this low point on Addington Avenue, where it flows over lot 57, 58 into this common area detention pond. So lot 58, here's the proposed grading with the black lines. There's supposed to be a drainage swale in this area. I hashed out the drainage easement in red here. And then this orange hatch is a deck that the property owner constructed within this drainage easement. So basically the swale was moved over, I think, to this area because we couldn't complete the grading because the deck had been built by the property owner. We do have the property owner on the Zoom call as well.
Okay.
I'll give him a chance to speak. So I worked with the developer's engineer to make sure that this had the capacity. As it was, done by the developer. A lot of elevation change here, which was in their favor on this lot in particular, a lot of elevation change to make sure that water would be able to flow. Main concern, is that, again, this upstream of this area has not been fully developed. But based on the calculations, the engineer is comfortable signing off on the grading that the developer did. My concern, of course, is that it is in the drainage easement. If for some reason we have a big flood and determine that, turns out we do need to regrade some of this to maybe convey it to the pond in a stable manner or protect the home. If we have issues with the size of the soil, this deck would almost certainly be in the way. The other violations, they didn't apply for a building permit. It's over 30 inches tall, so should have required a building permit. So they received another violation letter from the planning and building departments. So, do you want to hear from the homeowner?
Yes, please.
Okay. TSC, could you please allow the Sotomayers to speak and be unmuted, please?
We'd like to be able to do pictures ahead of time. What time would you want to? I'm gonna keep track for.
I need to leave at 1:45. You're better at half an hour.
Well, once you get into it and then we have other obligations, I understand.
It's 9:30.
Yes. Have another meeting at 10. And 2 more.
Oh, God. I couldn't.
Yes, you can unmute. Okay. The property owner would like to speak about the deck. I'm open to.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Santiago. I'm actually filling in for my parents. They have very limited English, so I'm aware of this, and I've talked on the phone with I believe you a couple weeks ago. I think the biggest issue, and I think the previous homeowner kind of mentioned that, is that there was really not a lot of transparency when these lots are being purchased, because there were conversations about decks being built and fences being put up, and there wasn't a single conversation of like, oh, there's an easement there, you should, this much of your lot is basically unusable. Because during the process, the conversations happened multiple times. My dad was unaware that he needed to apply for a permit for the deck, so he just built that deck. He does that for a living. He's a property manager, and he's been doing that for almost 30 years. So I know that the structure is pretty sound, and there's no issues with that. We did send some pictures from the other side. Like if you look at the deck from the bottom, what you look on the screen right now, the closest corner to you is the closest thing to the easement. The bottom is close to the 10 feet from the property line to that further corner down there. So it's the top is basically what is closest to the easement. I also heard the concern that if they have to redo it, they might need to remove the deck. I think it's worth crossing that bridge if we ever have to. If there's no need to remove it in the future, they've had some pretty severe storms since they've been here with a lot of water, and there's never been any issues with water standing. The water flows pretty easily, and I think with what they just did, they just added a whole bunch of pipes and stuff really on the neighbor's yard. mostly, I don't think there'll be any issues with water for the deck.
Thank you.
I know we have just a moment in time. Do you have Elevate up? Because if you could just click on the plat there, it just has been indicated that, you know, how are we supposed to be somewhat, you know, aware of this? And, you know, I feel like there's been a few comments that said there's, you know, it's difficult to understand. And if you click on that, you should be able to, it'll pull up that other page where there's additional information. And it'll show the additional data right there. And then if you go to the plat map, it'll show all of these easements on that.
My concern with these plot maps on Elevate, it doesn't really show every single page of it.
No, I
So-
agree, and I think there's a better way, but you know, it kind of clearly shows some of those.
It does.
And you know, I do think we're striving to make sure we do our absolute best, so people don't find themselves into a buyer beware.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to really kind of highlight the fact that, you know, there is an official process. These are plotted out, you know, the easements only exist because they are an easement that is on the plat. And it's unfortunate that we're here twice for after the fact builds, but it hopefully there's some silver lining, but I just wanted to really show that just so, you know, it's very clear that, you know, there is a procedure that the county follows to do this, and it's not, we're not just selecting these sites randomly or
Sure.
arbitrarily. So thank you, and I'm sorry to eat into some of your time, but it's been brought up a couple of times.
I completely agree, but I also think that asking buyers to look at a plat map and understand all of that is not really reasonable.
No, it's a tough one, and making strides to really put maybe more data out there that's easier to visualize is my hope, but again, I just wanted to really indicate that, you know, there is a process we follow.
And I would recommend to anyone building anything on your lot in the county, contact the county planning department, because they can help you interpret the maps and determine if you have easements on your property.
That was a great
Yeah.
added addition there. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. And this is where the swale is supposed to be. Center line is supposed to be on the property boundary, and the deck is close, very close to that.
Can you show us the one where you outlined yes,
Yeah, this was provided by the developer surveyor. I think based on the stake shown in the picture in the corner of the map, I'm not confident that this square is exactly correct. It looks like it was a couple of feet from the property line on this corner, but it's still in the easement, so.
yeah.
Where is the deck on that particular map?
It's this left diagonal hatch right here. So. If I can draw it, yeah, but it's here.
So what's the corner off of the dark portion of lot 58?
This is a drainage easement, and marked in red.
So there's two different ways that those hash lines are angled. One's the deck and the other is the drainage easement. And when it starts kind of creating that little diamond hatch, that's where it's encroaching into the.
There's a little
easement.
square
Yeah.
white outside
perpendicular.
on the left northwest corner of the lot 58.
That's the drainage.
No,
No,
not there,
where the
down,
hash marks are perpendicular below.
way down, below that.
Here?
They're right there. What's that?
And that's still either a.
Concrete patio.
Is it a patio? Okay.
That's the patio there,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the patio extends how far out?
And he built,
Covered patio, and then deck extends out.
I guess it's really a non-issue. That's why it's not highlighted.
Yeah. Um,
I just add a few things.
Yes.
Again, I'm not on this petition or whatever.
Do you mind
In the
to
builder.
project just for the?
Yeah, Tom Langer, the developer, of Southern Meadows, so, I do give plot plans to every home. Don't go over them with them all, but they do give homeowners to every plot plan, to every home. And I'll probably put out a flyer, you know, guys, from here on out, all the homeowners, you know, call Monroe County Planning, the building department, to see what you can do.
Yeah.
Homeowners wanna do things on their own property, I get it. That's part of, you know, home ownership. You know, you wanna do things on your own property to enhance it. So I get that. The other thing, Kelsey can correct me if I'm wrong. So Kate Stein with, Smith Design, certified engineer. We redid the swales in there, and I believe, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the criteria we had to live up to was that all the inlets in the neighborhood were 100% clogged. And we got a 100-year rain event that those waterways would work and we would not get flooding from homes. And so that, I believe, was the criteria, and that is the criteria that she signed off on. And she said, and for what it's worth, I don't, not one way or another on the deck. It was built after the fact, had nothing to do with it. But she said that that did not impede that water flow that day. It went forward.
Uh-huh. Thank you. So Kelsey said, as the draining, as the engineer, it has signed off on.
I had her submit a certified plot plan, and by certifying it, that means that they say that it meets the criteria that is put on basically these easements and for subdivisions, and that needs to convey that 100-year flow.
Even with the deck in place.
The deck is on the plot plan, so yes.
Okay.
I'll say I'm not comfortable with it there personally, because if we do need to remove it in the future, it's gonna be that much harder. That's how I feel,
Do you mind bringing the picture of this back up?
So. To get the full easement. How far?
10 feet.
Yeah, how,
you
no,
So it'd be 10 feet, so it'd be coming back to here someplace.
Possibly.
no.
Mhm.
And this one, it looks like it doesn't impede any drainage. Being off the ground.
This corner caused us some issues when we were trying to regrade this swale here. I had asked Tom to regrade the drainage easement swale according to the plot plan grading that we had approved. And the property owner, it was my understanding, didn't allow Tom to do that work, to remove their downspout where they had their pipes down here.
You know, I actually cut that out.
You did cut it out?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
cut that out and redid that.
Yeah.
And then that's when we had more than one attempt, so we
Mhm.
did it, and then, Smith came out and site checked it, and then it did not make it, so then I came back, talked to him about it, homeowner,
Right.
and, said, you know, I'm gonna have to cut this downspout,
Right.
there's just no way I can get the cut in it. So I cut the downspout, rerouted it, tied it in, got it out in the drainage. Then she reshot, or I should say, Smith reshot it, designed,
Yeah,
and then Katie certified it. So with that in place, it still meets that very stringent criteria. Again, I have nothing in this.
yeah. So, okay, thank you for that clarification, Tom.
Yeah,
Jim, you're saying that it's open right now. It would
If
be
they
flood.
take the rest of the siding off,
Mhm.
we would help the drainage.
It wouldn't be an obstruction.
It would be an obstruction.
So are they like going, so the easement itself is a 10-foot span?
Mhm.
And so they're going completely into the full thing, so I wonder if. And we've granted things like this in the past, like if it was only encroaching 5 feet or something, that still might get, or as Jim's saying, it doesn't look like it's impeding, but. Also, we're coming to like the last 2 minutes of the meeting, so,
Right.
and I think these are pretty important decisions that we have
Can
to
I
make.
ask real fast, why you think it would be harder to move the deck at a later point?
So drainage board had already allowed it there. So if you go back and say, hey, we need to, let's just say we need to fix erosion or grade within that easement. And we're only allowed to do it within that easement area that's platted without having to do a plat amendment, you know?
Yeah.
We're stuck to that drainage easement area and I think it'd be hard to go back and say, hey, we allowed this to be in place, but now we need you to move it. Now that we need to fix this.
Well,
I think if you
I
leave,
think-
we just have a live agenda,
yeah,
so everything comes back.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably,
But I think planning should weigh in on this one because there are active things going on with planning on this particular.
Yeah, and speaking to the homework, I'm leaning toward having the deck removed. To clear up this easement issue and drainage, even with the engineering.
Mhm.
So does this come back then to us?
Yes,
Okay.
it will.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
sorry.
thank you, Lee.
You wanna take the donuts to your next?
Hopefully you're feeling well
Well,
enough to attend
Yes, I'll
virtually,
be here.
Bob.
Okay,
And then we're moving to Thursdays, right?
We will move to Thursdays,
yes.
starting in
Won't be doing
January.
this anymore.
Yes.
Just happy to have a.
You want the donuts to your next meeting?
Pardon?
Want to take the donuts to your next meeting?
I'm sure they would appreciate it, because
Go
they
ahead.
don't hear one another first.
Yeah. But it's happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lee.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Even without a quorum, can I still discuss the remaining agenda item? For
I'm happy to stay.
Yeah, I'm happy
really
to
quick,
stay.
okay, because Tom and Jody are here.
And planning might be able to share some insight that they were hoping to do if they wanted
Yeah.
to.
But we won't be able to vote on it.
No.
correct?
Yeah.
But, okay,
Clarification for the property owners is, our Commissioner Lee had to go to the 10 AM Commissioners meeting, so we lost our quorum. We can't vote on it, so we're going to vote on this in December, okay? December 6th at 8:30 AM is our next meeting. So, again, you can attend virtually if you'd like. And we will work with the planning department in the meantime to, put together the packet and make sure that we have all the information for you at the December meeting. Okay? All right, thank you for attending. We appreciate your time.
They're welcome to stick around, right, for discussion.
Yeah,
or-
so welcome to stick around. We're gonna quickly discuss the last agenda item that I have with Tom Weininger. So the last item is regarding floodplain violations. So there are 3 lots in the Southern Meadows subdivision. Lot 60, 61, and 62. These all abut the floodplain for Clear Creek. And the floodplain is within a drainage easement. So it's this whole west side in here, lot 60, 61, and 62. The lots were graded in a way where fill was placed in the floodplain. Okay,
What was placed in the floodplain?
fills,
Oh, Phil.
yeah. So you see from the plot plan, the red line is what was graded. And the original plot plan did not call the black lines. All the grading was supposed to be within the lot and the floodplain wasn't supposed to be touched. They graded it so that it sloped away from the home and this fill was placed in the floodplain. So Tammy Behrman has been leading the enforcement on this because chapter 808 floodplain management. We're working with them to provide options to move forward on how to get these, I guess, this floodplain violation in compliance. I also want to take it to the drainage board because you do have some say in this. In current chapter 761, and the fact that it is fill in a drainage easement. We're not gonna vote on it today, obviously, I have two of you here, but I wanted to run this by you, at this meeting. So, I gave plot plans for all the lots in the packet, where you can see, and the amount of fill placed here, we're looking at, right here, 663 versus 670, we have, 7 feet of additional fill on this supposed to be there. Compared to the original plans. So the options given were to either remove the fill from the floodplain, and that would most likely require retaining walls along these properties, or to provide compensatory storage and a no-rise certification, meaning that you are not contributing to any vertical change in that floodplain. That is a federal FEMA requirement for that zero rise. Previously, the state had 0.14 feet of acceptable rise, and that is no longer in place due to changes at the federal level. So in our current ordinance, allows the drainage board to dictate that zero rise requirement as well. I pulled up the ordinance language at one point. It's in the miscellaneous somewhere. But so basically, the drainage board still has a say in this. But really, to be consistent with what Tammy is doing, we've asked the developer to comply with that federal no rise requirement. It's here somewhere, honestly, I swear. Building and floodplain single pond borders wetlands is this section right here. So Tom has chosen to hire an engineer to do the hydraulic modeling to demonstrate the zero rise requirement. Redesigning the compensatory storage, I believe,
Yeah.
to be in compliance. And we will review that. And I'll update you next month on that.
Okay.
I allowed you the ability, if you had a quorum, to vote to just kind of solidify that zero rise requirement. Since it is in a drainage easement, and we do have this section here where the board can approve. Basically you get to dictate what you want to see in this area, but.
And so where's the compensatory storage gonna be on the site?
Yeah, so it will be in the floodplain, I'm assuming somewhere just west of these properties, because that's what's required for, to truly be zero rise. Right, so.
Katie Stein, again, engineer with Smith Design is working on that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I can,
Okay,
And I've been in contact, Jackie's talked to her also about it,
Mhm.
and she's working on a timeline on how long that'll take to calculate that.
all right. I also have contracts with multiple engineering firms, but I've mainly used Christopher Burke Engineering for third-party review for some of these.
Mhm.
So I can contract out another review of their modeling just to make sure it is meeting
okay.
all these requirements. Okay,
It sounds like it's a good solution. So,
Appreciate that.
all right.
yeah, and any comments from you, Jim? or-
No comments.
Okay, okay.
Okay, did you want to hear about the additional items that I have on the agenda?
Might as
or-
well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Tom and Joey, for
Yeah,
attending.
thank
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for 25 years. One more month, huh?
I hope you appreciated the donuts.
I like to smell them.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Go to Crescent, they're the best. In fact, I was gonna go there this morning, and get some,
Oh,
I'll have to wait till tomorrow morning.
yeah.
They run out fast.
Oh, you got a crumb here. Here, live there, yeah.
All right, so I have 4 things that are most likely going to be on the December drainage board agenda. The KNS roll off, you've seen this one before. This one, I'm still deciding if it will be on the agenda or not, or if I'm leaning towards just doing staff level review of this. They are modifying the fill area. So we've gone back, I should probably think where it is. They had large sinkhole, compound sinkholes on site. we did modeling of that 48 hour, 100-year storm to see if the fill in their sinkholes. So. To see if the fill they placed in the sinkhole would impact neighboring properties, and they were able to demonstrate that. That 48 hour 100-year event is still contained within this sinkhole area. So we kind of gave them the go ahead to allow the fill to remain, because we also felt that removing it could also be harmful to the sinkhole. So move it as is, but no additional fill can be placed. So now they're proposing in this area to add an additional 7 feet vertically of fill. And then put the dumpsters on top like they've been doing now. My main concern with this is, we discussed water quality at that previous meeting, so I want to make sure I take that into account. They are proposing some check dams and other things, but I'm just trying to figure out how to proceed. We need to bring this back to drainage board, that additional 7 feet vertical of fill. And it's currently fill right here with dumpster storage on top, but is that a trigger for us to require anything additional at this point?
But it's, the fill is not in the sinkhole.
The new proposed fill should not be in the sinkhole.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So that's that one.
And a check dam is the purpose?
Check dam, it'd be like a rock berm essentially, so you have,
Okay.
keyed in riprap and then some filter stone on the front side of it. And then with a little overflow notch
Mhm.
to have a controlled release of water.
Okay.
Can be used as a water quality practice, but requires to be cleaned out.
Right.
So I think like a earthen embankment is typically what we see for like a permanent practice where you have like that riprap spillway, but you can have like an earthen embankment and then, the fire retention plantings for your water quality within the pooling area. So we really just have some conceptual plans, in my opinion. I haven't really received any more detailed plans to review, but
Okay.
that's the current state of that site. Simple. Okay. The next one is some activity in the North Park area. So North Park is on State Road 46 between Bloomington and Ellettsville. A lot of stuff going on up here. So this is Hunter Valley Road. This section was renamed from Curry Pike to Hunter Valley Road to continue over here. But this is like the whole North Park area. The one that we are seeing for a large fill site is going to be this old quarry area right here. So they're planning on having it as a long-term fill site, like it's gonna be a lot of fill. To fill in the old quarry area for future development. That's really it right now.
You have some of the Westinghouse's
Yes, so there's,
stuff in there already.
I will make sure in my review, we look at environmental aspects, so if we need to, anything environmental related, I'll look at that in my plan review. So. this is-
Stouts Creek is drains part of that. Drains north,
Thanks for knowing, yes, we have
Yeah.
a plan right there. So,
because I live up there.
okay,
And so filling the quarry to build upon it, then that's on
in the
future.
future, yeah. And I did see they have some sediment basins, I just haven't had a chance to do a good review of their preliminary plan, but I will take it to you to review and we'll look at the sediment basins, make sure they're properly sized and everything. Okay. The other one is an extension of Stone Carver Drive, which is, I believe, this extension here to Woodyard Road. So the Stone Carver Drive will extend down to Woodyard. Another one I'm looking at. I have received preliminary plans. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, so I'll bring this to the board in the future. Okay. The last one is Monroe County Airport, which I know you will be especially interested in. I gave Bob a quick rundown of this So the airport has requested $4.7 million in ARPA funding for a drainage improvements on their property. So the general proposal is showing repair and or replacement of almost every single storm pipe on this property, excluding the main crossing under the runway. They have two major crossings under the runway. This one's definitely excluded because of the difficulty in it right now with FAA regulations and floodplain. So right now they're just looking for remediation of some pretty significant issues with older pipes that have failed and making sure that everything's adequate. So when I first heard about this, my first comment to them was asking about detention, if we can do anything on this property while we have some money going towards drainage. They have existing ponds on site, fairly large, and so I've had preliminary discussions with their engineer on potentially modifying those structures to see if we can add additional storage. Basically whatever we can do to add more detention on the property. We've had some discussions on maybe underground detention as well, but without significant geotech work. Just throwing it out there as, some ideas on what we could possibly do. But they're open to whatever help they can get. One of their concerns is head cutting in those ag fields. So you see these head cut gullies basically forming, and it's getting up into their runway protection zone where they're required by FAA to have 250 feet of basically golf course flat lawn on the side of the runway in case a plane goes off the side. So you don't want gullies head cutting up into that area. So a lot of work needs to be done on all of these ag fields. You have a level of concrete pipe as well that will be either replacing if joints have failed or lining them or whatever. So right now preliminary plans are asking for a proposal just for design. So basically going through inspecting all the pipes, doing condition assessments, prioritizing the things that need to be done first, and tying that into a larger drainage master plan. So that we have long-term planning for drainage on this property. So other side of this is we have in 2002 completed an airport evaluation. I don't know if Jim, you remember this, but they did a big sinkhole survey on the entire airport property. Where they inventoried all the sinkholes, and Todd Stevenson had gone through and modeled a 48-hour, 100-year event to see basically what the drainage is doing through those sinkholes on the property. That expired in 2007. So been working with planning to determine if we would require another evaluation prior to or in conjunction with a drainage master plan for the property. That's it in a nutshell.
We really haven't had a big, heavy storm yet,
No, not since,
not in the last several months,
no.
so I'm waiting till we get one.
Yeah.
Stout Street really gets flowing,
Yeah, roaring.
roaring.
Mhm. Yeah, so I had a chance to speak with elected officials about my opinions on this and discuss some of the issues we have with drainage in this watershed from Fieldstone down to Cavewood Court and the terminal sink here, for Cave Creek, so.
I mean, is there any evaluation of the pipes going underneath the runway? I mean, what their condition is?
I would encourage them to include that in their.
No, okay.
I know they redid one of them, I think. And I want to say 2013, they had like a really large project where they had a sinkhole form right next to the runway and they had to close it. It was like a $10 million emergency grant from FAA to fix it. Where they found like a hole and they started exploring and it turns out there was a huge sinkhole under the runway.
Wow.
And I want to say something happened with those pipes, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
I'll get that information before.
Right,
discuss it
right.
further.
Regarding the evaluation of existing conditions.
Yes, absolutely. So I will keep you all in the loop on that project. I expect to have more to say in December because this should be moving quickly.
Okay.
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 I'm just curious if there was a comment in the chat and if it was mentioned that I wasn't paying attention well enough, but Jackie had talked about if we go back to where we would have and basically adjourn the meeting with the deck
Yes.
Her comment was that, just wanted to note that the owners will be required to apply for a variance through the planning department for construction within the platted building setback or revise the debt location, so, I feel like that was worth, bringing up since, you know, I'm not sure, I was focused over here, so if you did bring it, that'd be great, but
No, thank you for
there's a
stating
couple
that.
different things there, so.
Mhm.
Are the property owners still on?
Yeah, but I think we could discuss it more than confused. It doesn't look like they're there.
Okay,
It's
so
just-
I don't know if they got that memo.
Mhm. They said they had received a letter.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I think I said that in the meeting, they received a letter. from
yes,
planning as
okay,
well.
okay, gotcha.
I think I just wanted some of this discussion to be in the minutes so that our members could read about it and get caught up
Right,
for our next meeting. But yeah, it sounds like we will address these other two at our December meeting.
very good, wow.
Well, thank everybody for my retirement.
I didn't know it was this month. I felt a little
No,
short-handed.
I'm gonna be here December.
Oh, I
Right.
know.
We wanted to do it, you know, in November. Just in case.
My term doesn't expire until December 31st.
Mhm.
I'll try to get Donna to come. She might still be there, so she might have heard that.
The donuts were good.
Well, very good,
Thank
glad
you.
you enjoyed it.
Oh, Crescent Donuts. I normally could go there and get a dozen of the chocolate whole donut holes.
Right,
They are
Thank you,
delicious.
everyone. Yeah,
Thank
those
you.
are-
yes.
So long.